In this hearing, Lauren Southern exposes everyone in this room who has an agenda in such a hyper-articulate manner. She is a force to be reckoned with.
How do you respond to allegations that your online content has been used to further Russian propaganda or influence Canadian public opinion?
How is anyone in this committee supposed to stop disinformation abroad if they can't stop it within this committee? Why wasn't Ben Scott, why wasn't he challenged when he cited false numbers about Tenet's views? Why wasn't he challenged when it was said that Tenet created the top podcast in the world?
I'm glad this is out there so that people can see that this is happening.
You might think it's insane, though, to head over to Russia, speak with a neo-fascist Alexander Dugin, and then praise the guy to say...
Sorry, Mr. Erskine-Smith.
You might think that's a level of insanity.
Mr. Erskine-Smith, sorry. No, the time is up.
You might think it's crazy that you would go to Russia, interview Alexander Dugin, and praise him. All right, my time's up, and look at how it's handled here.
All right, no, the time is up. We're actually over a little bit.
I get to answer the question.
So hopefully another member, can give you time to answer the question, but we're actually already over the time.
Point of order, Mr.
Madam
Chair. Point of order. I think it's fair to allow the witness to answer the question.
So I'm going to move on to Madam Michaud, and then Mr. Johns.
Point of order also.
If you'd like, you can give her time to answer that question from your time.
Point of order.
Someone else on the committee tries to point that out and say, look.
Yeah, Mr. Shipley.
We've been sitting in this committee for many months, many years now, and prior to you taking over that chair, that was always the policy. If there was a question asked that the witness did have a chance to answer, that was always the policy.
But we're not going to stop and let her respond to the grenade that was just thrown through the door.
So I actually tried to stop Mr. Erskine-Smith from asking the question. I spoke while he was speaking.
Of some insane things, and I think...
So again, if members feel differently, then they can give the witness time to answer from their own time.
You've spent more time debating this than it would have taken her to be able to respond and address that.
Chair, do I have any more, how much time do I have left?
You still have 2 minutes left, actually.
Well, you actually answered a lot of my questions on this already, Ms. Southern, so I'll have to regroup and pass it on to the next speaker.
Thanks, Ms. Southern. I'm going to be speaking French, so I hope that you can hear me, that you can hear the interpretation.
What's the likelihood that this member of parliament does not actually speak English? So the question then is, why did she choose to speak French and require her to use a translation earpiece? Is it tactical? I don't know for sure.
I really haven't had the opportunity to look at your videos.
Really? You have someone appearing before Parliament for making YouTube videos, and you have not even taken the time to look at any of their YouTube videos?
Did you make videos about the Canadian policies, about politics here in this country, about the stance in Ukraine?
Who cares? Why would you ask that question? So what?
I just wanted to take 2 seconds to respond to the allegations that I'm an insane person quickly for interviewing Alexander Dugin.
And she goes straight back to address the grenade that was just thrown through the door, and she nails it here.
Given my inspiration for the interview was from TVO's The Agenda, Steve Peikin, who interviewed Dugin. I don't think we would be calling him insane in this House. I think there is a deliberate effort to slander me for political purposes.
Look at all the other cases in which interviews like this have occurred.
I'm not formulating this individually.
Alexander Dugin is a Russian political philosopher, and he's really influential in shaping Russian policy at the highest level.
You are known as Putin's Rasputin, and I've even seen Putin's brain.
Alexander Dugin has appeared before so many other American journalists. No one would make these accusations about them. And she does her best to point this out, and I think she does drive that home.
Why would you want to platform someone like that?
The exact same reason Steve Peikin did, and TVO did.
I am shocked that this is even occurring. This feels more like a tribunal.
And so you went to Russia to stir up hatred against Jews?
I'm so sorry. What are you referring to?
Look who you deliberately made a trip to Russia to interview someone who is one of the most anti-Semitic people around. Like, is it just to be controversial? Is that, do you find that funny?
What part? Yeah, I do find it funny that you were accusing me of taking a trip to Russia to stir up hatred around Jews when I don't think Jews came up once during my interview with Alexander Dugin. I don't know where you're getting that from. And once again, Steve Piken conducted an interview with him. I guess you would have to make the same anti-Semitic accusation against TVO.
That's absolutely correct. We have footage of him appearing on 60 Minutes. Would you say that about 60 Minutes?
Do you agree with his views on Ukraine?
No, I don't think we should kill the Ukrainians. On the contrary, I think we should be trying to not kill anybody. Not a big fan of killing people, Ukrainian or otherwise.
And do you prescribe to his anti-Semitic views?
No. Once again, you're interviewing me right now. Do you agree with all of my opinions?
No, I actually find some of them quite offensive.
What did Tucker Carlson do when he had the opportunity to sit down with Vladimir Putin? He took it. That was the interview of his lifetime. I bet you the majority of journalists, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, all of them were salivating at that, and they would have jumped at the chance as well.
You also said, though, in your opening, your views are rapidly becoming the views of the majority of this nation.
And my true experiences as a Canadian have informed my opinions. And to any members of this government who may be listening, I would suggest you familiarize yourself with these opinions because they are rapidly becoming the views of the majority of this nation.
Do you think the Great Replacement theory is going to become the views of the majority of this nation anytime soon?
That could mean so many things, and he's trying to box her in here and paint her as a racist.
Depends what you mean by the Great Replacement theory.
So the best thing you can do is turn it right back so you can get it clearly defined in their own words.
What do you mean?
Well, what do you mean by the Great? Well, that there's an active attempt to replace a white population with a non-white population. What do you mean by it?
I think that there are a lot of people that have concerns about the impacts of mass immigration, removing the culture in certain areas.
Yeah, there's a big difference between concerns over immigration and concerns about white people being the majority.
When we have these issues of so many foreign buyers coming into this country and inflating prices, when we have these issues of not putting the Canadian populace first, people want to hear these opinions. And I'm sorry to tell you once again to the people here who might think that this is all foreign propaganda, it's not. No one told me to have these opinions. I grew up in Surrey.
What responsibility do individuals like yourself bear in preventing the spread of foreign influence?
I can answer that. For myself, I have a responsibility to say what I believe is true, to follow the logic, to get as close to the truth as I can and strive to try and get there. That's all that anyone can do. That's all that she can do. End of story.
What measures do you take?
I ensure that every contract I sign and have ever signed in media gives me full creative control of every single thing I say and publish. That's how I ensure it. I think that it is rich that I am sat here and being asked what I have to do to stop foreign influence and foreign interference. As a Canadian citizen, well, we sit here with MPs like Jennifer O'Connell, who said boo-hoo to Conservatives who wanted actual elected politicians working with foreign governments to be exposed. I'm not looking to be an asset of any government, foreign or domestic for that matter. So no, I was not happy with the idea that I would be working for. I was certainly happy with the integrity of my work, all of which was done of my own volition, all my own opinions. And if there's any concerns by this committee about anything I may have published that was not factual, I'd be happy to correct that. But
where's everyone else from Tenant Media? Tim Pool, is he going to be summoned before Congress? Or is Lauren Southern being summoned because she's a Canadian and that's just how the Canadians roll? That alone says a lot.